I just wanted to find answers. I wanted to feel that emptiness I felt. I am Channetta Stafford. And this is my testimony. So, I grew up in the church. We went to church every day, basically. It felt like I used to go to church and go to sleep. But I like children's church because they fed us some snacks. So I always used to go to children's church. When I got about middle school, I started to question. I had a lot of questions about, who God was and, why does people run around and shout and stuff. And I just didn't understand, what was going on at the time. So throughout those years, I was kind of like oblivious. I just went to church because, it was a guy there, or I went to church because they gave me food. So it was just basically catering to me. I didn't really care about God or Jesus. So basically when I was in high school, I got to the point where I was just like, I don't need God. I see people in church and there's no difference. They say, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, but yet they out doing the same thing I was doing. They was out smoking, they was out drinking. I'm like, well, I just seen you the other day. Like, how are you gonna be, in church singing and praising one day, and then the next day, you doing something different. So I felt like, that was dirty. I felt like, it was, if I'm saved or if I'm not saved, I felt like it was the same thing. So I decided, I was like, I'm not gonna be saved no more. So if I go to hell, I go to hell. That's just the bottom line. So at that point, I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to do what I want to do. I started smoking, and I introduced my friends to smoking. So I remember the first time it was just like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, I can do whatever I want to do now. And then in high school years, I was pretty much a good girl. No one knew what was going on. I made good grades. I played basketball, but inside I was filthy. I was dirty. So I kept that life separate. My mom always thought, well, she's my good child. My sister, she was okay, but I was always the one that was getting good grades, bringing home good grades. So when I started to do drugs and stuff, or I should just say smoke weed, nothing really changed. I would come home high, but my mom really wouldn't say anything. Because she's like, no, she won't do that. You know what I mean? She won't do this. She won't do that. So my 11th grade year, I started to say, I don't want to go to church anymore. Every child gets to that stage where I'm 16, Mom, I don't have to go to church. You don't have to make me go to church. So I got to that point where I didn't want to go to church anymore, So I would just smoke, and me and my friends, my best friend was just like, yeah, you can do this and you can do that. About 12th grade, it's a time where, I'm looking for colleges. I know I got some scouts coming. My 12th grade year, it was pretty much my premier basketball season. I had scouts and stuff like that, and that's when I really started to get into the whole drug life, It was me, my OG, and my two best friends. We decided that we were going to start selling drugs to the students at our school, and we were going to start selling drugs to the college that she was going to go to. So we had this big old plan, like, okay, we're going to take over Orlando. We're going to do this, this, and this. And, because my friend at the time, she was accepted into UCF, so she felt like, we can go up there and we can sell drugs to UCF. I'll sell it to the students. And we was going to build up our own empire and just take over UCF, make all the money. That's all it was about. It was about money. But I got accepted to Temple, so that plan was just like, okay, well, you got accepted to Tennessee, and I'm in Florida, so how we gonna do this? So I felt like I was just like, well, I can come down, I can come home on the breaks, and we can just do it like that. And while I'm in Tennessee, you can keep it going and stuff like that. So we felt like, okay, that was a good plan. That was gonna be a good plan. So I came up to Tennessee. I'm like, I don't even want to be here. Like, I never heard this school. I'm just like, well, I'm just playing basketball anyway, so it'll go by fast, it's whatever. Coming to Temple, it exposed sins that I thought I had buried, and it opened up doors that I thought I had closed.